Jersey. I can't
New
mess
York.
that up.
New
It's
York.
New York. All right. All right. So we're going to have a great topic here today, the all demo session for Cloud IBR. So let me introduce my co-host here today, Greg Tellone in New York. Let everybody know, your whole story, Greg.
The whole story. Wow. Good morning, Rick. Thanks for having me. So so today we're going to cover cloud instant backup recovery, what we've built to give small, mid-sized businesses the ability to do disaster recovery at a very simple process, affordable price. And before we jump into that, I wanted to say Happy Veterans Day for tomorrow for all those that have served our country. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when we were scheming the date, we moved it around, was going to be the Thursday and yesterday, but then with travel, we said, well, we'd be better off, safer situation to do it today. Yes, big thanks to all those who have served. And Greg, you've got something kind of special that you want to show about that. Tell us a little story about the that plaque that we were talking about in the preparation.
Cool. Yeah, I got a quick screen share here. A few years back, one of our employees, he's in the National Guard. He was offered an opportunity to go on a long-term deployment, and he asked if he could have his job when he came back. So I basically signed a piece of paperwork that said he could, guarantee his job. They gave me this plaque here. I don't know if you can see it in the screen share. They gave me this plaque, but then they took me and a couple dozen business owners for a flight on a Black Hawk from Eastbound Long Island out to the Statue of Liberty. Then we landed and I switched into a Chinook and they flew us back home. So it was a really, really cool, thank you from them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's one of those things that you just truly would never forget. And, definitely thank you for that great story. So, Greg, we saw it there on the plaque, the, couple of years that you've worked as a Veeam partner and, you have thought about a whole bunch of things and you've created, I don't even know what to call a product, an offering, a service, Cloud IBR. Now,
SaaS.
before as SaaS, that's right. Now, before we get into that, I got to ask a question to the market, to the audience, right? And we're going to try something new. Some things are best described as a meme, all right? So I want to ask everyone, is it easier to build DR or buy DR, right? So now, Greg, I don't want to lead the witness. It's going to take a while for everyone. Go ahead on LinkedIn, everyone. Answer build or buy. Which way is easiest to do it? Now, Greg, you have a lot of experience in this. Do you have a preference?
Well, the cool thing about our software as a service product is it lets you do both. So you buy it and then you click a button and it automatically builds it.
Oh, so you're choosing both. Oh, that's
Yeah, I'm
tricky.
gonna
That's
two
tricky.
hands down on that.
There we go. So I'm looking at the chat here. I'm tuned in as well. And it's kind of interesting when we do these live streams, we have about 25, 30 seconds of latency, but I've dropped into the chat here, build or buy when it comes to DR. And I'll give everyone my point of view here is that sometimes it's almost untenable to think of all the different things that you might need to have it complete. And it honestly might be one of those things that people just never get around to doing it. So my thought here is when you ask the question, what should I do? Should I build it or should I buy it? That is the question that we put out to the market. And I've talked to people here at Veeam for a long time, and I've felt like it's almost harder as an organization to build this on your own. And I've looked at our service provider community to get that answer out. And so I'll take a few more answers here. Again, just type build or buy. I want to see where the crowd is. Let me see what everybody says here. We got one from Gasser. He says, I think buy. Okay. So thank you for that. And everyone, that's what we're going to talk about here today is Greg's built a really compelling offering called Cloud IBR. And other than the meme, and then we've got one other promo later in the episode, I want to see how easy it is, Greg, to build a DR. So tell us about Cloud IBR, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat, and we're going to take a look right on the webpage of how easy this is to achieve disaster recovery.
All right, so I'll check out the screen share here, and essentially what we've built, a web-based solution that's very easy. You log in, you create an account, and you add just a few tabs here. You go through each tab, fill out some information. So you add in your repositories. It supports any S3 compatible storage. Then you go in, we create a bare metal cloud account for you. One of the cool things about this is not a multi-tenant solution. What we're actually doing at time of recovery is building you a physical environment containing your Veeam server with running on Windows and a pool of ESXi hosts and soon to be Hyper-V hosts where you can recover your entire environment to on your own single tenant environment. Basically, you go through, you put in your storage requirements, your desired memory, your Veeam backup encryption keys so that we can decrypt the backups. All of this stuff is stored in an Azure Vault so that it meets all different compliancy requirements for the keys, et cetera. You go through your network information, you put in your default gateways, your VLANs, any port mappings you want open to the entire world. So we've got, our mail server, web servers, et cetera. And the whitelist, this is for the DR staff, the IT team. They're going to put in, say, their home address or their company IP address so that at time of recovery, they can actually take over and manage the physical environment, the ESXi, the Veeam server, et cetera. We've got VPN users. So right now you add in as many VPN users as you want via their email address. We have end users and DR test users. I'll cover the difference in a little bit. And that's it. That's the onboarding right there. And what we've seen since we launched back in May at Veeam is that the average onboarding for this is about 27 minutes from the time they sign up to the time they run their first recovery. That's how simple this screen is.
Whoa. So, Greg, a whole bunch to unpack right here. And so
Yep.
when I asked the crowd build or buy DR, should I have kind of qualified that, especially for a mid-market or below audience, that you can do it in less than 27 minutes? That just blows my mind, but I love all the controls here, the encryption key, the VPN. So that's actually, Greg, so many times, so many people think about DR and they don't properly think about the access to use those services. And so basically, we're provisioning this right along the way. I want to pull out one comment from Ferris on LinkedIn. Ferris had said, it really depends on who you are, but the couple of different pieces and vendors, it's always a burden. Ferris says it's better to have this as a service offering. Couldn't agree more. And I think when you couple the low barrier that you have here, Greg, it really just makes it super attractive to consume. And I just got word from the producers that the map is ready. So we're going to come back to the screen share here, Greg, in just a second. But let's take a look at the map. We have nothing, but I'm going to read out New Jersey, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, and over in Europe, we'll have Italy, Turkey, Chile, Saudi Arabia, and India. Apparently it's a different map, but we will light this up. So let us know what U.S. state or country we are from. I really want to know who's from New Jersey, because I got it wrong, Greg. New York, New Jersey, we've got both, and that's all good. But let us know. Actually, one quick question came in, Greg, on that VPN users from Mr. Singh. Any cap to how many VPN users can consume this Cloud IBR?
There's no cap.
No cap. There you go. How about that, Mr. Singh?
As many as you can enter.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So that was the enrollment process. And if I'm understanding right, when we look at recoveries, is using those encryption keys, seeing what restore points are under management. Is that what's happening here?
Yep. So I'll walk you through this. So this is how you actually do a recovery. You do your onboarding. You did your 27 minutes worth of setup. Now you click on Start New Recovery. We give you 3 options: auto, manual, and DR. So I'll give you basically the explanation of what they all do and then tell you the difference. So as soon as you scroll down, you click the Initiate Recovery, and it will immediately begin the automatic process of reaching out to the bare metal cloud, provisioning the physical servers. So there'll be one Windows server with Veeam. There'll be one or more ESXi hosts. We then connect to the Veeam server, fully automated, add your bucket, add your Veeam encryption keys, rescan the bucket, and immediately begin restoring all the backups that are in the bucket. Now, the difference between the three is this one will, at the end of that process, once all the servers are 100% done, it'll shut the entire environment down and decommission it. Where the manual shutdown, that will leave it running, and so that you can connect to it with VPN, with your whitelisted management IPs, et cetera. So now you can connect to the environment, test it for as long as you need, and then shut it down when you're done. The difference, you want to ask a question?
No, I was just, I think that's really cool, because a lot of times I think of DR as just this incident moment, but manual, you're kind of thinking of all the different scenarios, really, including testing, it sounds like.
Yeah, and also end users, because something, we've been in the DR business for decades, and I started my career when I was 19 years old at Cheyenne Software, the original makers of ArcServe, and I had been running a copy of that in my bedroom as a kid, my Novell NetWare network. So, I've been a geek my whole life, loved technology, and have always been in DR. So end users are often overlooked, where the IT team sometimes, works in a vacuum to make sure that servers stand up, et cetera. But sometimes you need to engage the end users. So that's what we have here. When we talked about that VPN tab before, you have the DR test users and the end users. So whenever you pick the manual shutdown, you have the option of them getting an email. It's an encrypted email. It contains their VPN credentials, the link to the OpenVPN client, and the OpenVPN software. We're also working, that'll be coming out probably Q1 or so of next year, is we'll have IPsec tunnel VPNs that you can provision with our software, so that not everyone has to use, the software client. A couple of options here, if you don't want to phone home some servers, by default, we leave outbound internet off. But now, so you click the button, and now I'll show you what it actually looks like for when you did a recovery. So here's a bunch of recoveries I've been doing. And when I go into it, the first thing you'll notice is server names. So these are server names, the % complete. This is the IP address. It's the same IP address in your recovery environment as it is in your production network. The host that it's on, the date of the Veeam recovery point we used. So you get all these servers listed. You can see this one is, we decommed it and renamed it to old. The reason it didn't get restored was because the backup is older than 7 days, and that's the default, is any backups older than 7 days, we skip them. Here's all your VPN accounts that we created. These users will get that encrypted email if the end user option is selected. If not, the DR team will get it only. And then here's your physical environment. So these two, for this demo, you get 2 physical servers, and this is you can HTTPS to this as long as you're on that whitelist. You can take ownership of your ESXi host and do any management at that level. You can RDP to your Veeam server. Here's the firewall that we built for you. That's virtual. And basically, you click down, you'll see, here's all your port mappings. So you get to see all the details you picked. And in the near future, this entire report right here that you can see is going to be automatically emailed as a PDF attachment for you to be able to pass around to management and say, hey, look at the test. We did this, we did that. And it literally takes, the automatic one, it's 3 minutes of your life. You could be doing it on your cell phone, while you're, on your way to the car. Like it's literally takes less than a minute to kick off a recovery. So very simple and very easy to use.
Well, that's crazy. So a lot to unpack here. First of all, Greg, Mr. Singh says excellent about unlimited users. And we got a question from David about, can Min.io buckets be used, or does it have to be like something accessible on the internet from a bucket perspective?
So we support any compatible S3 object storage, just like Veeam does. Mm-hmm. It needs to be accessible over the internet, but we do have a list of our WAN IPs and our ASNs from all our different data centers where you could add that to your firewall to allow inbound to your Min.io from just our network.
Yeah, so one point there, David, is that if the MinIO bucket is on-prem, in the same site as the objects or as the primary infrastructure that the DR is being scoped of, I'd be possibly concerned about some of the domains of failure, but if it's accessible, sounds like, as Greg explained, we can get it. And then one other question actually from me, Greg, is that email users, is that basically enrolling them and saying, hey, a DR event has happened. Here's how you get into it. Is it's really giving them everything they need to know to the end
Yeah, it gives
users?
them all of the instructions to basically download and install the OpenVPN client, their configuration file, and their credentials, all via an encrypted email. They can log in, and now they're on your corporate network via that VPN.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to ask the producers to load back up the meme. I got to ask,
Yeah.
are we making everybody kind of thinking, should you build your DR, or am I making the case it's a little bit easier to buy the DR? Again, in the chat, just say build or buy. I'm actually kind of interested here. You guys are on the fence. We're showing you a little bit more. Hopefully you can be convinced, because I really think what Greg's built here, and by the way, Greg, you kind of created all of this, right? This was your brainchild, and
Yep.
it's a separate product. It's going to sit in the market as its own offering and play with a lot of different bare metal providers and take in all types of backups. I think that's really cool. There's maybe a whole separate story of what led you to make this from an innovation standpoint, but that's awesome.
Yeah, you know what? It's I'm the chief architect, and we have an awesome dev team who's been working on this, for over a year now. And what makes it, oh, I see the screen share just came up. What makes it not just, for that meme of buy or build. When you look at a price point like this, I think it makes it really hard to make that, it makes it really easy to make that decision. Is we start out at $149 a month, so it's a very inexpensive solution compared to, for an enterprise, people spend, tens of thousands, if not 100,000 a month on DR. So this, we built with the small and mid-sized firms in mind.
Yeah, and I see that middle band there, how much RAM is allocated. I think that kind of predicates how much of a scope that you're looking for. But I will tell you this is a very, very good affordable option. We did have one question come in again from Firas. He said, so the VMs are being restored with the same IP. Is that the same VLAN also?
Correct.
Yeah, so we're assuming the primary infrastructure failed, so it's kind of transparent for the workloads. Awesome. One person asks, Rick, is that really you chatting and presenting at the same time? Yes, that's why everything is misspelled, because I'm running over to my phone briefly. So I did get word that the map is ready, so let's load that up. And guess what? We have it illuminated this time, and we've got some more. We've got another attendee from Texas. We got Chile and Brazil down south. Looks like Pennsylvania and New York, and I think that's New Hampshire and New Jersey are all tuned in. This is great. Let's hop over to Europe. We've got Italy in the house. We also have Turkey in the house as well. And then let's go over to the Middle East. We got Saudi Arabia and India. So good crowd. Let us know what, and Don, how do I get to the chat? Don, you're in the chat. It's that LinkedIn chat. That's the chat of chats for this. So great stuff. All right. So Greg, so you've shown us how easy it is to enroll, kind of what's included in the offerings and stuff. But, what else is there to know about cloud IBR?
So I'll go over a partner program. So for any MSPs, resellers out there who are interested in providing DR to their customers, I logged in as the Acme MSP, and you'll notice this new link here, Partner Portal. And when they go to the Partner Portal, they essentially very easily, they click the Send Proposal. It brings up a form, they put in their customer information, pick the different level. They click Send Invitation at the bottom right, and they can see a list of everyone they've sent it to. And what happens is once the customer gets that email and clicks the link and accepts it and purchases it, we will bill the MSP directly on their credit card. And then the MSP continues to own the relationship with the customer. So they bill their customer, they put in their value add services, such as onboarding. For a typical small business, they might not know how to even set up these different tabs in here. So that's where the MSP is going to sell this to them. And then you'll see up here in the company switcher, they get to see all of their customers. So here's customer A and B, and they now select their customer, and now they can go through and do the onboarding. So they can bill for that. It doesn't always take 27 minutes, but you can bill for that, for whatever time it takes to onboard each customer. And then you can actually run disaster recovery testing on their behalf. Or if they have an actual DR event, ransomware, et cetera, you can come in here and click Start New Recovery and get them up and running.
Greg, that's awesome. I mean, Veeam has, I'd like to say we have partnerships in our DNA. And for those resellers that are out there, so what you're saying, if some of the attendees, if you're a reseller, you can basically sell to your customers who you have this relationship with, who have a need for DR. Mm-hmm. Those resellers can offer cloud IBR to them pretty transparently, is what that sounds like.
Yep, they continue to own the relationship. They own the paper. They do all the billing. They do all the management, and they're basically using our platform to bring this easy DR to their customers, and they get to do it under their name, which is what most MSPs are looking to do.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And again, I mean, and actually, what Greg is showing us is the web page, because that's how you consume it. And is it cloudibr.com? I can't remember.
It is cloudibr.com, and at the top right, it's getting cut out in this version of the screenshot, but up at the top right, you'll see partner program. It's free to sign up as a partner. You fill out the application, and you can immediately start, selling it to your customers.
Got it. And I'm going to put in the chat here the URL, at least on LinkedIn, but it's cloudibr.com. And now, Greg, you hit something really kind of right into my wheelhouse. I started in IT right about the same time as you. I used that other product as my first backup product as well, but I really got to know, were you a NetWare 3.1, 3.12, 3.2, or a NetWare 4 type of person?
2.12 is where I started.
Oh, you go way back. Over in the closet over there, I still have a NetWare 3 CD, believe it or not. So that was actually, it was pretty rock solid.
It was. It was good.
File system for sure.
The education was great. I loved. I was a CNE, CNA. I forget all the acronyms, but it was where you loaded and unloaded NLMs, the network loadable modules, and that was actually one of my interview questions when they said you have Cheyenne on your resume. Where did you use DarkServe before? And they, they started asking me questions, and I think I knew more than most of the people doing the interviewing. So I got hired on the spot, which was neat.
If anyone's on the stream who also used to use NetWare, let me know what version it was, because I'll be honest with you, still to this day, Greg, I remember like the flag command was so powerful. And what I mean by that is you could have a file that's write but not read. Like you could have the permission to write it, but you couldn't read it. It's just bizarre. I can't even concept some of those things.
The opposite of immutable.
Exactly. It's mute only. Or wait, mute is to quiet, mutable only. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. 2 questions also came in, and I think the answer is no, but Fierce wants to know if this can work in the hyperscale public cloud. And I want to say no, because it needs like a VCSP bare metal environment as a target.
So currently the target is bare metal only, not any of the public clouds. The part of what you can, if you're doing agent-based backups of your Azure or AWS or Google Cloud servers, and you're storing them in object storage, then we can recover those into our bare metal cloud using this product.
Okay, fair shout. Another one from David about Kubernetes, and I'm like, whoa, David, you're pushing the envelope. I'll give you a like for that. But I think this is just image-based backups, like you're saying, VMs, agent-based images at this time.
Yeah, Windows, Linux, agent-based, VMware, Hyper-V, and I think that covers the gamut. Yep.
Awesome. Well, we're almost at the home stretch here of production time, a runtime. Trying to keep these short and sweet. And I did want to bring up the fact that we've got an additional longer form webinar coming up with this. I've got I think it's you, Greg, and then Danny Allen, our CTO, on the
Yep.
14th. And Jeff, the producer, if you have that visual that you can, there it is. It's going to be on the 14th at
December.
the 14th of December, 2:00 p.m. I'll see if I can shoot out the URL to that here in a second, or the QR code. But anything else that you want to show about Cloud IBR, Greg?
No, I think, it shows itself. As you can see on one of the screens where we're showing it, the recovery environment takes about an hour and 10 to an hour and 15 minutes to do the DR. This one was an hour and 11 minutes and 46 seconds. So depending on the size of your environment, it could be, an hour, 2 hours. We've seen so far nothing greater than about 18 hours. So for pretty fast RTO, this isn't for your 1 hour RTO where you're using VRO and orchestrator, et cetera, for an enterprise. This is for the business who could never afford a higher version of the software and the site A and the site B. It eliminates the site B because you get that on demand. What I will throw out, so billing wise, it's a flat rate for our product, and you can do recoveries as often as you want. Once you buy the software, as a matter of fact, it will by default run it on a monthly basis, your recovery. You'll get that automated monthly report letting you know the success. You can run it as often as you want. The only other fees are whenever you run a DR test, you get billed for hourly usage for the bare metal cloud. And you can look on our fact page of the website, cloudibr.com, and our demo environment costs about 75 cents an hour for a DR test. The biggest we've seen so far is about $6 an hour for a DR test. So if your automated one runs for 4 hours, you throw on, say, $24 a month, or even a few dollars a month, depending on the size of your environment.
All right. Well, cool. Hey, Greg, I really appreciate the innovation here. You're taking Veeam, which is already pretty easy to use, and you're making it easy to solve a business problem. So asking that question, build or buy, it might be easier to buy. A couple of key administrative points. The first thing I want to bring everyone's attention to is the Veeam Resiliency Summit that broadcasted late October, and it is available for replay. This is really tight because we're previewing 12.1, got the latest in some of our cybersecurity type things. There's over 5 hours of content that you can on demand binge watch. Just go to Veeam Resiliency Summit. If you just Google Veeam Resiliency Summit or hit that QR code, it'll take you right there. And curious if you can find the Easter eggs for those of you who watched it from my session. Next thing I want to highlight is on Tuesday, the industry insights are back up, talking Kubernetes, cast in a good feed right off of KubeCon, which was last week or this week in Chicago. And then Thursday, we got a lot going on. The Tech Byte stream is back. Myself and Michael Cade, we're going to take a deep dive into 6.5 and some of the technical elements of KubeCon. Producers, did I forget anything? Oh, I got to give a big shout out to Dips from the UK. I'll give you a like there. Thanks for tuning in, Dips. I think I got everything though.
Quick comment for our friends in Europe. We'll actually be sometime next year launching a European version of it. We have where we have the object storage and the data centers all out there. So for now, US based, but also Canada and Europe actually are in the pipeline.
There we go. That's an important part because the latency would maybe give you different problems for that. All right. Hey, Greg, thank you so much for joining us here on Friday Tech Bytes.
Thanks for having me, Rick. It's awesome.
All right. A big thanks to our producers, friends. I could not do this without them. Greg, Mark, and Felicia, these professionals, trust me, they make me look way better than I am at this. So I am grateful for them. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next stream.
In 2023, innovation fueled every industry, from renewable energy to space travel, all powered by data. The world runs on data. It's worth more than oil, and inherent value brings inherent risk. Natural disasters, accidents, and ransomware attacks are increasingly prevalent. Years of globally impactful work can be erased in an instant. But not with us. With Veeam, your enterprise becomes radically resilient. We give you the power to restore any workload, anywhere, anytime, instantly, so you can meet every challenge head-on. There's a reason over 80% of Fortune 500 companies work with us. We provide comprehensive recovery with tailored solutions that scale with you. When you partner with a global leader in data protection and ransomware recovery, you can bounce forward. Veeam. Radical resilience starts here.